We're gonna get started shortly. That way people come in.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have one question.
Mhm.
Will I be able to see the chat?
Yes, you should be able
Okay.
to. I think so. I made you co-host, so you should have that ability. You can, is it at the bottom of your screen?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like, I can see it now because I minimized my presentation. But I was
Oh,
just wondering, I might have to go back and forth.
and if you need help, I can help you man the comments too if needed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, and we'll be right. Sure, I got everything YouTube good. All right. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for Sage Circle. It's the last one of the year, and we're so excited to have Dominique Williams. She's a mom, worthiness coach, holistic wellness advocate, author, CEO, and founder of Inspiring and Empowering Ladies, where they equip girls and women in the mindset, confidence, and clarity to break free from limiting beliefs, embrace their self-worth, and walk boldly in their purpose. Through transformative books, coaching, and courses, she empowered them to silence self-doubt and step into their power and thrive unapologetically. Welcome, Dominique. Thank you for doing the Sage Circle for us today.
No problem. Thank you. And thank you for having me. So if everyone can see and hear me, please put a 1 in the chat. Okay. All right. So as she said, I'm Dominique Williams, and today we will be talking about how centered women change the world. And by being centered, you are able to create wellness, balance, as well as lasting success. So she already introduced me, so I will not introduce myself again. Many women today are battling burnout, anxiety, and constant comparison. And as you all know, society tells us to achieve more, give more, prove more, often at the expense of our health and well-being. Many women carry the hidden weight of unhealed wounds while striving for success. So we're going to dispel those things today. Lasting success does not come from hustle alone. It requires wellness, harmony, and alignment. When a woman is centered, she doesn't just survive, she thrives, leads, and transforms her world. So today we will be discussing the centered framework, which was created as a pathway to wholeness and impact, not a quick fix. So we need to go from hustle to harmony. And as I said, lasting success begins with the mindset you carry daily. Many women have been conditioned to believe that hustle equals worth, and I'm here to tell you that it does not. The truth is, your worth is not tied to how much you do, but how aligned you are. And when you have a mindset of harmony, you can say, I can honor my calling without abandoning myself. So choosing a centered living means trading constant striving for steady and sustainable growth. You should ask yourself if you are operating from a survival mindset or a wellness mindset. And if you have a pen and paper, you can write down this question to reflect on it either now or later. As we continue to move throughout the presentation, I am going to ask some people to share what they wrote based on the questions that I asked. So a way that you implement harmony over hustle is you can write down what you tell yourself, aka your self-talk. For example, my worth is tied to how productive I am. And that's not true. So we would like to rewrite it into an affirmation that centers both wellness and balance. And an example of that would be my worth is not measured by how much I do, but by who I am. So you can start each morning by asking, what does harmony look like for you today? And let that guide your priorities. So the problem with hustling is you're not able to be centered. And the centered framework will ground you spiritually, emotionally, and practically. So you don't just survive life, but you are able to thrive in it. And this isn't about adding more to your plate. It's actually teaching you how to carry your plate differently. So you must say yes to harmony, wellness, and lasting success because the time is now. Women are currently craving alignment, harmony, and healing. And the centered framework is a faith-rooted, practical, and designed to help you live with lasting success. And here's the truth. You don't have to walk this journey alone. You can join me and my community of worthy women who are choosing to live centered every day. You can go deeper by becoming part of my online community, reading my book, Worthy Woman Wildly Winning, and by enrolling in my group coaching program while I walk alongside you as you apply these pillars to your real life. So the goal is not for you to leave here just inspired, but to be connected, equipped, as well as supported. So today I would like you to choose one pillar that stood out to you most once we go through the pillars. And that is the pillar that you will commit to this week and share it with us. Speak it aloud and write it out. This gives your commitment power and helps someone else find courage in your choice. You can also pair up with an accountability partner from this community or choose a trusted sister in your life to check in with at the end of the week to celebrate your progress. What happened? Hold on. I'm sorry. My slides, they somehow got out of order. Oh, I don't know what happened. Okay. Okay. So for this question, I would like someone to either come off mute and answer this question or to write it in the chat. So where in your life do you feel the most unscattered or unbalanced? I'm sorry, most scattered or unbalanced right now? And I'm going to look at the chat too to see if, let's see. Everywhere. Do you mind expounding, Emily, or does anyone else want to share? Don't be shy.
I'll share. I
Okay.
think for me, it is professionally.
Okay.
So I think in different seasons of my life, it is a lot more busier. And so I've had this notion that my calendar has to be full in order to be productive. And I think in this season I'm in now, I'm having to learn like it is okay to not have something on my calendar every hour. So for instance, yesterday, I ended my day at 12:29 p.m. I closed my laptop and I took a midday nap. And then later that evening, I went and met with a friend that I have not seen in a few years, and she was back in town. And so I think me a few years ago would have felt like that was unproductive, but I had completed everything that I needed to do that day. And I am like Emily, like there are moments where I feel like that everywhere, but specifically professionally. And we've been taught the hustle and bustle and not harmony. So
yes. Thank you for sharing. I would say, do you think that I love to be productive too? So I agree with you there, but do you think putting that much pressure on yourself, is that leading you towards peace or is it draining you?
no, it has absolutely been draining me. And I think, even in this moment right now, like from 12 to 1, like this is more so of like a self-care space that I can actually gain more information on, whether it be professionally or personally. So like I'm trying to look at things much differently than I have before.
Yes, I love it. Changing your perspective will definitely help you have lasting success. But thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm sure many other women can relate to what you just shared. So I appreciate it. And minimize this screen so I can get back to my presentation. Oh, it's not letting me.
I'm sorry. I would like to share. I'm also
Okay.
at work, and so when I said everywhere, I mean everywhere. I'm I only found out about this Zoom about 5 minutes before the call. I mean, not 5 minutes, around 11:40. I came across an email that said it. And it said Sage Sister Circle. And I was like, that's one. Two, I woke
Mm-hmm.
up this morning and I was in the mind. And apparently God didn't get at me before the devil did, or I did. And
Mm-hmm.
I've decided that today I'm turning my 2 weeks notice because I'm overstimulated. And also I've been working on my paperwork for my husband and I'm going to deliver it to him today for a divorce. So that's what I mean when I say everywhere, I'm everywhere.
Oh, well, I really appreciate your transparency and honesty, and I wish you much success on your future endeavors, and hopefully you can find some harmony after listening to this presentation and also linking up with an accountability partner, either from the Sage Circle or in your friend or family group. So, you guys pretty much already wrote that down, so we can go to the next slide. So the silent weight that we carry. The truth is, many women are overextended, undervalued, and overwhelmed, as the ladies just shared. We are carrying expectations that don't belong to us. We're battling burnout, comparison, as well as perfectionism. And too often, our faith and worth get pushed to the bottom of the list. And that's the cycle the center framework is designed to break. Here's another question, and if anyone else wants to share, I don't mind if it's the same ladies or different ladies. Where have you been negotiating your worth away to meet others' expectations? Anyone? Somebody surely can answer this question.
I think I'd like to speak up on this question. So
Okay,
I
awesome.
am a high school student. I'm a senior in high school, so it's college application season. And
Mhm.
I think that's where I feel as though I'm like giving like the most out of myself and trying to meet others' expectations as of now.
Mhm. Okay, I love that. So, where do you want to go to college?
So for college, mainly just worrying about going somewhere where I can get my education paid for. So wherever gives me the most money, the most scholarship money is where I'll be going, yes.
Mm-hmm. So is that a decision that you made or that your parents made or it was influenced by, your parents? I understand like the economy and things like that, but just curious.
I think it was more so a collaborative decision between like my parents and I also have like a college advisor. It makes the most sense, you know.
Okay. So what colleges are you interested in? Or have
I'm
you applied to?
I've applied to a couple in state North Carolina. So like East Carolina University, North Carolina
Mhm.
State University. I applied to Chapel Hill.
Mhm.
I'm still applying to a couple more, but I'm applying to a lot of like big scholarships in hopes to receive funding.
Yes, and I hope you do receive them. And before you know it, you'll be over and you'll be in college and you'll be graduating. But thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Another thing you guys can write about is a time you silenced your voice or overcommitted yourself because you were afraid of disappointing someone else. I know I've been guilty of doing this in the past for sure. This week you can practice saying one clear and confident no, and this will protect your peace as well as honor your worth. So the centered framework. They are 8 pillars that ground you in your faith and worth, and they are clarity, empowerment, nurture, truth, excellence, resilience, elevation, and discipline. Together, they create a balance and help you move with divine order instead of scattered striving. And this isn't just information, it is a lifestyle shift that I hope you implement. All right, so clarity is knowing who you are, what you're called to do, and where you're headed. Without clarity, you chase everything and exhaust yourself. But with clarity, you can say yes with confidence and no without guilt. God is not the author of confusion, so if confusion is running your life, it's time to come back to clarity. So a question you can ask yourself is, am I moving with clear vision or am I clouded by fear and distractions? And you can take it a step further by doing this journal prompt by writing about a time you said yes to something that wasn't aligned with your purpose and how it costed you your peace. One way you can put this into practice is writing a 3-line vision statement for this season of your life and read it aloud every morning this week. So in what areas would you like to be clear? Write it out and read it to yourself every morning for the next 7 days. The E is for empowered, and it means standing tall in your God-given identity and authority. Far too many women shrink themselves to fit in, to please, or to survive. But shrinking does not serve you, and it does not serve the people you were called to impact. When you rise, you give others permission to rise with you. So a reflective question for being empowered is, am I standing in my power or am I shrinking to fit in? A journal prompt would be, describe a moment when you dimmed your light to make others comfortable. And what did that moment cost you? And practical alignment would be writing one affirmation that declares your worth and power and speaking it aloud daily. The N is for nurturing, and nurturing means to tend to your own soul the way you would tend to others. And you can do that through self-talk. You can do that just by taking care of yourself. Too often, many women give to everyone else until they're empty, especially as women, we're juggling multiple roles from motherhood, from sisters, various organizations, things with the school, things from the job, husband or relationship. So there's a lot of tugging and pulling. So we have to make sure that we feed our own soul. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And when you nurture yourself, you don't just survive, but you will also overflow. And a reflective question is, am I caring for myself as intentionally as I care for others? So you get the kids to school, you pick them up from school, you cook dinner, you give them baths, and then do you just go to sleep and do nothing for yourself? So even if it's 15 minutes, find 15 minutes for you. As a journaling prompt, you can list 3 areas of your life where you've been pouring from an empty cup and how that has impacted your peace, your health, and or your relationships. And what I'd like you to do this week is to schedule one act of self-care and treat it as a non-negotiable appointment. So don't put it off. Actually commit to it and follow through on it. The T in centered is for truth, and this means living by God's yes instead of people's approval. When you live in truth, you walk in freedom. When you live for approval, you stay trapped. Truth may cost you popularity, but it will always lead you to peace. So ask yourself, am I living from God's yes or from other people's approval? You can write about one time you compromised your truth to be accepted and how that made you feel afterwards. And putting this into practice, identify one area of your life this week where you would choose truth, even if it costs you others' approval. The third E is for excellence. And excellence is not perfection. Perfection paralyzes you. Excellence moves you forward, and God calls us to do all things with excellence. But excellence is not to be confused with flawless. It's to be faithful and intentional in what we put our hands to. So ask yourself, am I striving for progress or am I stuck in performance? And you can think of one goal or dream where perfectionism has held you hostage. So what is that one thing that you've been putting off that you know you need to do, or you know you need to put out there, but you're not because you want it to be perfect? How long have you been waiting for it to be perfect before you acted? And how long will you continue? Because tomorrow's not promised. So if you keep waiting, you may never get that opportunity. And one way to put this into practical alignment is to take one imperfect action this week on that goal. So you need to choose progress over perfection. Easier said than done, I know. The R is for resilient. So resilience is your ability to rise again. And every woman in this room has been knocked down, but the worthy woman does not stay there. Setbacks don't define you, they refine you. Your story is not over. And you can ask yourself, am I letting adversity define me or refine me? Because at the end of the day, the storm will run out and the sun will shine again. For the journaling prompt, you can write about your hardest setback, what it taught you, and where did you discover unexpected strength. To put it into practice, you can reframe one past failure as training ground. Write it out and share it with someone you trust. So all of these practical alignment practices is pretty much reconditioning your mind through exercise. So we know about reconditioning our body, but we often don't think about the power of reconditioning our minds. Then elevating is the E, and that's choosing growth over comfort. Growth stretches you while comfort keeps you stuck. A worthy woman does not settle. She keeps moving higher and becoming all God has called her to be. You can ask yourself, am I staying comfortable or allowing myself to be stretched? And you can journal and ask yourself, where in your life are you playing it safe instead of growing? And you can put this into practice by setting one stretch goal. So that's a goal that's not necessarily easy, but it's going to challenge you. And in the word challenge is change. I heard that earlier this week and I love it. I said I had to use it, but you won't change if you're not challenged. So set one stretch goal for the next 30 days and write down your first step toward it. And somehow I left the D off, but I'm sorry. The D is discipline. So of course we have to be disciplined in all that we do, especially to be successful. We won't be successful without discipline because you may not feel like doing some of the things that you need to do to be successful, but it's not always about what you feel, it's about what needs to be done. So the measurable impact of being centered is undeniable. When you walk with clarity and you no longer question your worth, your confidence doesn't just change you, it shifts how you show up in every room. You stop living in burnout and you begin modeling harmony for your family, your daughters, and your community. A centered woman does not just find wholeness for herself, she becomes the evidence that thriving is possible. Her peace becomes contagious, her balance inspires others, and her alignment opens doors, and her success lasts because it's built on a solid foundation. So you can ask yourself, what would shift in the lives of those connected to you if you were living fully centered? You can write about one relationship, environment, or community that will be positively impacted if you stepped into clarity, confidence, and harmony. And how would your shift create a ripple effect? So whether it be your relationship with your children, your relationship with your friends, your work relationships, or even the community, would the school be impacted positively? How would the world change because you're centered? This week, I'd like you to identify one area where your change could inspire someone else's change. So we're meant to be inspiration to others. Take one step, whether it's modeling rest, setting boundaries, or walking in confidence, and notice how it impacts those around you. So as I said, women are craving alignment, harmony, and healing, and that is what the centered framework will provide. So my hope is that you don't just leave here inspired or motivated, but that you actually take action. You're connected, equipped, and supported. You can choose one pillar that stood out to you, and commit to it this week. And you can share it with the Southern Black community, or you can share it with a friend or family member. You can speak it aloud and write it out, because it gives your commitment power and it helps someone else find courage in your choice. You can also pair up, like I said, with an accountability partner from this community or a close family or friend, just to help you remain accountable, and so you can also celebrate your progress. Too often we don't celebrate our progress. So we've walked through the centered framework together, and I want to leave you with this. Worth is not something you earn. Worth is who you already are. When you live centered, you live aligned with that truth. So today, let's declare it together. I am worthy, I am centered, I am whole. Stay centered, stay worthy, stay whole. A reflective question is, what will I carry from this experience into my daily life? And a journaling prompt is, write your final reflection. One way I will show up differently after today is, and I like somebody to share one way they'll show up differently based on the information I provided in the centered framework.
I think just to put a little humor to things, I would I'm gonna add Sweet Sadie to my playlist by Tupac,
Mm-hmm.
and just focus on the part of you are appreciated.
Yes. I love that. I'm sorry, I was just reading the comments. Does anyone else want to share?
So I'll share. I do appreciate the question that you asked. Am I striving for progress or stuck in
Mhm.
performance?
Mm-hmm.
I wrote that down because that has come up more often than this year in certain conversations. And so I think as women, we get into spaces, we're in spaces where we have to perform, that it's hard
Yes.
for us to really see the progress. So I think
Yes.
taking from that, like truly focusing on like progress and not in this performative role, which is
Mm-hmm.
why I think we are unbalanced. We become overstimulated and we become
Mm-hmm.
exhausted because we have so many layers of
Yes.
us, and it's hard to kind of like step back and say, well, who are you, Santee? Are you
Yes.
really making progress, or are you performing? And I think most of the time I have been in a performative role,
Mm-hmm.
that I haven't been able to actually either stand in that power, shine my light. It's been more so like, was it the authentic Santee, or were you just performing? So I do
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. And that's like a question of reflection for me. And I'm going to try to show up better, and know that I'm a work in progress, but stop performing for others. So
Yes. I love it. Thank you. And I'm sure there's many other women who can relate. As women, we do that often. Even I feel like as young girls, we do it. So it definitely needs to be, we need to be reconditioned. So, my call to alignment for you all is my Centered Woman ebook, which is, it goes deeper into the 7 pillars of worth, wellness, and wholeness. Of course, deeper into the centered framework that we discussed here today. You've mastered survival, and now it's time to embody peace. The Centered Woman, 7 pillars of worth, wellness, and wholeness isn't just an ebook, it's your blueprint back to balance, your permission to rest, and your invitation to rise. As you turn each page, you'll begin to feel your shoulders drop, your breath deepen, and your thoughts settle into stillness. You'll be able to trade chaos for clarity, perfection for progress, and pressure for purpose. This is your call to alignment to live with harmony in your body, truth in your spirit, and grace in your pace. You don't have to find your worth, you only have to remember it. Your centered season starts now, and if anyone is interested, you can feel free to scan the QR code. And I'm going to leave you all with a quote, and then I will open up the floor for questions.
Dominique, you're not
Yeah.
on the, were you supposed to be sharing the screen?
Just not sharing?
No, ma'am. At least on, not on my end. I don't know about anybody else's.
I don't know what happened. Okay.
It just alerted me when you said the scan the QR code. I was like, wait.
Yeah, that's really weird. So you guys haven't seen the screen this whole time?
I didn't.
What?
No, ma'am, we did not. But I mean, it was still a wonderful
Yeah.
presentation. I didn't
It
feel like I
is-
needed a
I was over
slideshow
here
with it.
taking notes. Yeah.
Okay, that is really weird. Well, thank you for letting me know. Let's see.
You see the bottom, it should be something at the bottom of the screen that's green.
Yeah, let's see. That is so weird. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm trying to, let me close it out and go back into it because I don't know what happened. Because I have it in presentation mode, so I don't know what happened, but anyway, let's see. Well, I'm glad you guys still found value in it, even though.
Yeah, it was still good. I was taking my notes. I got homework to do. Let's see.
Okay, I don't know. It's still not working.
Well, if you feel comfortable enough, if you send over the PowerPoint to me, I can
Yeah.
send it to everybody.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send it to you. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, I lied. I'm sorry. I had a quote I said I was going to say, and I got discombobulated. I apologize. Success that lasts is the one that you don't lose yourself building. And now, if anyone has any questions, I am happy to answer them.
Could you remind us all of your book name?
Yes. The ebook is called The Centered Woman, and it is the 7 pillars of worth, wellness, and wholeness. And that's just the ebook, but I have over 30 books. So my business is for girls and women. So, and I love to write. So I'm always creating something. So I love that you're on here as you said you're a high school senior. I absolutely love it because I work with girls. I actually do a confidence club for girls because I want to instill the confidence and worth in girls before they become women. So yeah. So I guess nobody has any questions.
No questions? And yes, Sophie is one of our amazing youth ambassadors. So
I love it.
thank you for joining, Sophie. And thank everybody else for joining too. If there's no questions, we're going to end a little early. And if this was our last Sage Circle of the year, so keep an eye out. We're going to go ahead and put out next year's, within the next couple of weeks, next year's schedule. So you all can be ready and prepared for that. Thank you so much, Dominique. I do have homework, so I love that. This was an amazing session, and we will send over the PowerPoint that she
Yes.
talking about during the presentation, and we'll get that over to you all in your email. And this will also be in Mighty Network.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You all have a great evening, great afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.